Welcome, guys, to the Tim's Hot Takes times All CFB Network Bracket Breakdown show. I'm with the All CFB Network, and we're going to break down this bracket that us two and All CBB Network and CBB United got together to help create for you guys, and you guys get to vote on and crown a champion for. So we're going to give you our picks, what we believe would happen if this bracket was for real, and hopefully we end up being right. We'll see. You want to go ahead and introduce yourself? All CFB Network.
Yeah, like you said, I'm All CFB Network. I've been running my account for about 15 months now. Tim came to me with this idea not too long ago, and I was all crazy about it because March Madness is a big thing for me. I really enjoy it, and I was really disappointed to see it get canceled. And unfortunately, it had to happen. So here we are putting together something for you guys, and I'm really proud of what we put together, and I think it's going to be really fun.
I agree. So yeah, let's just dive right into it, as they'd say. We're going to start, guys, with the South region and give our picks there. So here we go. South region. We'll start with the first 4 games we got in this region. We got 16 seeds, NC Central versus Robert Morris. So these games aren't as meaningful. I personally have Robert Morris because I think NC Central is very bad. What are your thoughts?
In the playing game, I definitely have Robert Morris coming out on top. They're a more experienced team. North Carolina Central, I think, is a very popular playing game team as it is. So I definitely agree that they are definitely coming from the worst conference with the least amount of experience. So, I mean, as unmeaningful as this game is, I'm going to take Robert Morris.
Yeah, that's what I had as well. And then also we have Wichita State, Indiana in this region. And I actually like Wichita State in this one. I think a lot of people might go Indiana because of their pedigree. But Wichita State, I think, given the chance to be in this tournament, they're going to make some noise.
You'll hear me talk a lot about Wichita State. They're the one playing team I do have advancing as we get into this. They're very experienced. Greg Marshall is a class act coach. Of course, Now that we look at it, they're losing everyone next year, but of course this happens if we don't lose the tournament. So right. I'm also going with the Shockers here.
Nice. And then you have them beating Arizona?
I do.
All right. I actually do as well. I have them advancing to the round of 32. I think Arizona is one of those teams that's, they're one of those teams that can be upset, and I think Wichita State could be the team to do it.
Yeah.
So since we got past that, we'll just go top down from here. Kansas will beat Robert Morris. I don't think that's a question. I don't think we're going to get a Virginia UMBC moment here.
Yeah, Kansas is a lot better than that Virginia team that we did see lose as it is. They're very complete. They're not – I don't want to say corrupt, but they're not like exploded in the team chemistry is a lot better than that team was.
Yeah. The 8-9, LSU USC, 8-9 is always fun. I personally have actually USC pulling this one off. I debated this one for a long time because I really like LSU. I really like USC. So I end up going with USC here.
I really like both teams here. USC has been in my bracket watch the entire time. Just moving out of the bubble, of course, for this one. They have really good strength of schedule wins. So they definitely earn their way to a 9 seed here. I'm taking LSU. I'm big on offense efficiency. I believe defense wins championships, but in the tournament of all things, NCAA tournament, offense efficiency is probably the number one most important stat. Personally, I like hustle stats, steals, offensive rebounds, 3 points attempt. So I like LSU here. They're number 4 team in offense efficiency. Strong offense. They make plays happen. I think they're going to catch this USC defensive-heavy team off-balanced. I think they'll be playing the Jayhawks in round 2.
Yeah, I mean, this one was really tough for me, and because I came into this tournament thinking LSU could be a team that makes some noise, but I ended up going with USC. I think that they got the team that can actually beat LSU, but you made some good points there, and I think LSU this game's a toss-up, honestly. So we'll see how the fans vote on this one, because that'll be an interesting one. Ohio State versus Stephen F. Austin. This is my first 12-5 upset. I think Ohio State's one of the most inconsistent teams in the country, and I think they've shown that. And Stephen F. Austin, they're a solid squad, and they got the team that could beat a team like Ohio State for sure.
You basically right off my lips. I have Stephen F. Austin going to the round of 32 as well. They're number one team in steals per game, and I really like that hustle stat. I think that
That's
shows a
good.
lot.
That's
And
good
with a
stuff.
team, like Ohio State, who is super inconsistent, and they're coming from a conference to where inconsistency is rewarded. So I really like Big Ten teams falling in round one this year. I don't think Ohio State was a team who could get past a team like Stephen F. Austin or Liberty, and
Yeah.
uh, I think a team like Stephen F. Austin is right there at a perfect time.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. So we'll go Louisville, North Texas. I think Louisville runs away with this one. Usually 13-4s can be exciting games, but I don't think North Texas is really that good. And I think Louisville, they're a solid squad for sure. They're a solid squad, and they definitely have the ability to make noise in this tournament. We'll see if they do or not. But I take them easily over North Texas.
I told you that I went to the Conference USA tournament. I watched Florida Atlantic play down in Frisco a few weeks ago before
Mm-hmm.
the tournaments got canceled. I really like Florida Atlantic, so I don't think the Conference USA is very good at all. I didn't need much deliberation here. I took Louisville.
Yep, I agree. Um, so we did Arizona, Wichita State. Both have Wichita State moving on. Hopefully the fans vote that way as well. Duke over Georgia State is what I'm going with. I think that's pretty cut and dry.
Yeah, going into the selectioning process when we were choosing at-large teams, I really pushed for Georgia State here. I really liked a lot of what they brought to the table, but as I did more research, they gave me more reason to say, hey, there's no way this team can pull off a round one win.
Yeah,
So yeah, I'm going with Duke as much as I don't want to pick Duke. So
right. I mean, it's 3 versus 14. That's a tough spot to not pick Duke in.
for sure.
Houston, Utah State. Utah State getting into the tournament with their win over SDSU in the Mountain West Championship. Um,
We rewarded them properly. We gave them a 10 seed instead of
yeah,
11, like most people thought. So
yeah. And so I think it's probably going to be a popular upset pick. I don't have it happening here. I like Houston here. I think they move on to the round of 32.
that's why I have as well. I really like Houston. They're athletic, and that's one thing I really value in their first round games. They're able to make plays.
Yeah. And then Creighton Winthrop, Creighton getting in as a 2 seed. I think they're the highest scoring team in the country, at least like at points per game. They're up there for sure. I know they're definitely up there. And so they'll put a bunch of points on Winthrop. So
Mm-hmm.
Creighton on to round of 32.
Yeah, Creighton's another team in top 10 offense efficiency. They're a legit contender here. I'm not sure if much of our followers have followed Creighton this year, and I'm not sure if they're going to be able to get past the Sweet 16 maybe. But Creighton's a very good team.
They are. They are. I'm big on them. So we move on to the round of 32, where I have Kansas playing USC. You have Kansas playing LSU. I have Kansas moving on.
I also have Kansas moving on. As much as I like picking the 8 seed, sometimes I always pick 1-8 seed at East. Seems like, but not here. Kansas is just such a cohesive unit, and I don't think they can get beat by either of these two teams here.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And then so we move on. We both have Stephen F. Austin over Louisville. I considered picking Stephen F. Austin win again, but I think I like what Louisville has with Jordan Nwora, and I think that team's well coached. I think they'll get past a team like Stephen F. Austin, at least make it to the Sweet 16.
Yeah, I've had that logic originally, but I ended up changing my pick, and I have Stephen F. Austin moving on to the Sweet 16.
Ooh, I'm with it. I like that.
Yeah. I'm not the biggest fan of Louisville this year. When you watch them, they're a little bit
Yeah.
slower on offense. They don't
Mm-hmm.
create plays as fast, and I think a team like Stephen F. Austin is going to switch to pace on them. I think they could easily pull the upset here, and I definitely think it would be an interesting Sunday or Saturday night matchup.
Yeah. I like Louisville. They won a lot of games. They were a talented team, and the few times I had watched them, they did look like you said slow and a large, like more unimpressive than I thought they'd look. But I still picked Stephen F. Austin. But I'm all here for the hot take. So Stephen F. Austin beat Louisville. I'm about it. I'm about it.
It's definitely a possibility.
Yeah, it's definitely on the table for sure. Duke, Wichita State. Considered Wichita State beating Duke, but I think Wichita State's road ends here. Duke moves on to Sweet 16.
I love that we started with the South because it lets me kind of express my hot takes early. I have Wichita State taking down Duke. So I have two
Nice.
double-digit seeds in my Sweet 16 here.
I'm about it. I'm about it. A 12 and
Yeah,
11.
so
That's good stuff.
I'm gonna end up having 1, 2, 11, and 12. So it's kind of you got two of the, I mean, like paper, like bread and butter, and then you got two
Yeah.
Cinderellas here. Like I said, I just really like Wichita State. They have good playmakers who can dribble the ball into the paint and shoot from
Yeah.
deep. They have a good head coach, stable, and that's really important in the tournament. They're experienced. They're definitely a team made for March, and I think Duke's not as good as we think they are. So there's my explanation there.
Hey, I'm all here for the Duke slander, man. I'm with it. uh, so as you hinted to, you have Creighton moving on. I do as well. I have them beating Houston, probably kind of handily, maybe. I think they scored a lot
I
of points.
I think that'd be a great game. I think there's going to be a lot of points on the board, and I think it's something that I wouldn't watch. It'd probably be one of those ones I watch. I pay attention a little bit on the right side of my screen, and they have a little ticker at the top.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely, I think it would be an entertaining game. But I think Creighton would slip away pretty early in the second quarter or
Yeah.
half.
Yeah, I agree. All right, so we'll get down to Elite Eight, and we'll save our Final Four for the end. I have Kansas outing Louisville here. You have them against Stephen F. Austin. So do you have Stephen F. Austin continuing on, or do you have the Cinderella road ending here?
No, unfortunately, my Elite Eight gets pretty plain by the time the Regional ends. I got the 1 and 2. I got Kansas taking down Stephen F. Austin, and on the flip side, I got Creighton's offense. I think Creighton's gonna have a pretty easy road into the Elite Eight.
Yeah, Creighton is a team I was worried about, because if that efficiency ever drops, then they have a problem. But I think their road to the Sweet 16, probably Elite Eight too, is fairly easy. It's easier than I thought they would have. So yeah, I haven't beaten Duke as well. I don't think Duke is as elite as past years. Definitely not last year. So yeah, I have Kansas versus Creighton in the Elite Eight, and like I said, we'll get to the Final Four at the end. So, what region do you want to hit next? Let me know.
Let's move over to our number 2 overall seed, Gonzaga, out west. We're gonna have Gonzaga. Gonzaga is our second-ranked team, and I'm pretty sure it's unanimous 1, 2, 3, and 4. I think we had Kansas our number 1, Gonzaga our number 2, Dayton our number 3, and Baylor our number 4.
Yes, that sounds right. All right, so let me bring that up here.
Baylor is definitely a team you could have argued that after the conference tournaments could have made the slide to a 2 seed.
Yeah, depending on how they would have done in the tournament, I agree. Yeah, but didn't have that luxury, unfortunately. So here we go. Look at the West region. We got another first 4 game. We have Siena versus Southern, and I take Siena because I again don't think Southern is very good. They're very comparable to NC Central.
I also took Siena. I didn't look too much into it. Southern was one of the few teams that we said we went against the grain. We kind of just thought, hey, we really like the resume of Southern here, so we threw them in here. Kind of rewarded them for having a really good season.
I think they were the 2 in their conference instead of
they
the
were
1.
2 or 3, something like that. Yeah, so kind of rewarded them, let them in the tournament. But Siena's probably the better team.
Yeah, I agree. But then they get their handed to them, and from Gonzaga.
Winner gets to play Gonzaga, probably one of the better teams in the tournament.
That happened last year too, and then Gonzaga was up like 53-17 on somebody. In the first half. So Gonzaga, they feed on these 16 seeds. We got Colorado Oklahoma. My fault. At the 8-9. Last 2 years, I have not liked the Oklahoma teams that go into the tournament, and this is the same ordeal. I have Colorado winning here. I don't love the Oklahoma team. And I think Colorado's got, they're not special, but I think they're solid enough to get, 1 win here in the tournament.
I agree with you. I tend to lean away from Oklahoma after Trae Young burnt me against Nevada a few years ago. I'm going Oklahoma here just because of the Big 12 and Pac-12 difference. Colorado has been a 5 seed, 6 seed consensus all year, so they should be a lot better. We probably ranked them a little bit too low, but that's just my opinion on Pac-12. Like I said, I picked Oklahoma. They played better competition. They proved it down late. They earned their way into the tournament, unlike Colorado, in my opinion. So I think I went with Oklahoma purely based on who they played over the year and experience they do have.
Yeah, that's fair. But yeah, like I said, I like Colorado there. I think they're just slightly better. Butler, Yale. I took Butler solely out of the fact that I think Harvard would have won the Ivy League tournament if it had happened. Um, so because Harvard was 2-0 against Yale, so I think Harvard would have.
Mm-hmm.
And if this was Harvard here, I would have picked Harvard. But I'm gonna take Butler here over Yale.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we had to throw Yale in there just because before the tournament was canceled, they announced that Yale gets the bid. So
Yeah,
I also went Butler. I think the Big East is just very good this year, and I don't think Yale is as good as we thought. They're not as upset worthy as they
yeah,
tend to be in past years. So yeah, I went Butler.
I agree. Auburn, Mexico State, which is actually a rematch of a 5-12 matchup from last year. So that's kind
Mm-hmm.
of interesting. But I have Auburn winning again, same as last
Yeah,
year.
yeah. Also have Auburn going, and this is gonna be the one time I ever pounce on my call. I called Auburn in the Final Four back in January of last year. So
Oh, back in January? Wow. Yeah,
yeah,
I
I
called
was.
them when I did like my bracket breakdown show with Stetson last year. Um, I put Auburn in the Final Four, and that was like my big hot take, right? Like five
Mm-hmm.
seed Final Four, and it was right. And I was like, let's go. So,
I ended up not
yeah,
having them
I had
in.
them in the Final Four last year too.
I didn't have them in my Final Four because
Oh, you should trust
they
yourself.
yeah, they played North Carolina, which was I told myself that's the one team I don't think they can beat in the entire country.
Yeah.
And I was like, so I'm gonna stick to my guns. I'm gonna go with North Carolina,
Hmm.
and it failed. I don't even know if North Carolina
Yeah.
made it that far.
I no, they did. I think it
No,
was
yeah,
Auburn
it's
that
a
beat
Sweet
North
16
Carolina.
matchup. That's right. That's right. Yep.
Um, yeah, I remember the reason why I picked them was because I was watching the SEC tournament, and some announcers said like Auburn, they don't want to. They want to stop facing SEC teams. They don't like playing SEC teams. They've been really good out of conference. They want to see other teams get to turn play other teams. And then they won the SEC tournament. So I was
Mm-hmm.
like, well, wait. So if they don't like playing the SEC, if they don't like playing SEC teams, they feel like they're better against teams outside of it, and they just ran
Mm-hmm.
the SEC.
Yeah.
So it was that thinking
The
that made me pick
yeah
in the Final Four, and
the key there
I
is
was right.
Auburn was they were top 10 in 3-point attempts. They were top 10 in steals per game, and they were top 10 in turnovers per game, the least amount given up.
And
Those are
they
three
they
very
would get
important
out and run
stats.
too.
Jared Harper's just a stud. Bryce
Yeah,
Brown was a stud. They had so many playmakers, and it was really fun to watch them play.
yeah,
A
I
lot more
agree.
fun than this year.
Yeah, yeah. This year team was solid. So they beat Mexico State. Um, but
Hmm.
yeah, it's on the same team from last year. It's not a Final Four team.
No.
We go to Illinois, Texas. I have Illinois, but Texas actually have Illinois going kind of far because I think they're a
Okay.
team that they've shown throughout the year it could be like that team kind of like upset alert and their team that
Yeah.
could be like that. But if Texas wins this game, which I think is realistic too, they could actually make noise too because I feel like Shaka Smart, given the tournament, you never know what
Hmm.
happened. But I'll pick it. I'm picking Illinois here.
I really liked Texas when I watched them this year. I liked them a lot more than Oklahoma. We picked Oklahoma to be a 9, but at the end of the day, they had the better resume. But I went Texas here. I didn't
Okay.
want to pick a Big 10 team against a Big 12 team at a 6-11. Plus, I like Texas watching them more, so I want to see more of them play. So that's
That's
my kind
fair.
of my logic there. So
All right. Oregon UC Irvine, another rematch from last year. It just happened to work out like that. I have Oregon. Wait, no, did Oregon play UCI last year?
they
They
played
did.
them in the
Oh, the round of
round of
32.
32.
Yeah,
Yep,
round of
I
32.
had that too. I had that. I had the 11
I also
14.
had that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but I think in Oregon beat them last year. Oregon will beat them again.
Yes, I also have that. I think Oregon's legit.
And UCI was better last year too.
Oh yeah, yeah. They lost a lot.
Um, Michigan, Texas Tech. I don't like Michigan this year at all.
I don't
I've
like.
I ranked them pretty low in our bracketology, I think. So
Hmm.
I don't know if that
Yeah,
contributed to them being a 7, or if that's kind of where they're at.
you're the reason
Um,
why they were the last 7 seed. Yeah, they slipped down pretty far.
nice, good job, me. So they play Texas Tech, and I think Tech gets the win. Obviously not the same Final Four team from last year, but they still got some of the guys around, and I think they have enough to, win a game here in tournaments. So I was like Tech.
This was almost a toss-up for me. I don't see any reason why either of these teams should be past your round of 32. Uh, uh, so I went Texas Tech here. I just enjoy watching them play. They're still the quick team that we saw from the Final Four,
Mm,
but they're definitely don't they lack the firepower from last year.
yeah. I'm on board with that. And they have SDSU, Eastern Washington. I like SDSU. I really do. Hometown team.
Hmm.
And I think that they get the win here pretty easily.
Yeah, I'm riding with San Diego State too. I think they're very underappreciated. They're not as good as a two seed as I'd like to see a two seed, but they're definitely underappreciated.
From a resume standpoint, though, like just a record standpoint, like having a
Hmm.
two-loss team as a two seed seems really odd.
Yeah,
But
it's very, very, and they were our.
and
I want to say they were.
they've beaten Creighton and Iowa this year, so like people don't give their schedule credit.
Hmm.
I don't
I
agree with
believe they
them.
are. I think they were our 7 overall team. So.
Yeah. But the one problem is like they do have those solid wins that people don't really acknowledge, but at the same time they lost to Utah State
Yep.
when they shouldn't have. So things like that worry me. Like happened to Gonzaga last year. It's like St. Mary's got in
Hmm.
because they beat Gonzaga in the
Teams
WCC
like that,
championship.
I stay away from.
Yeah, and I picked Gonzaga to win the whole thing, and they let me down. And I was like, if you guys can't win those, yeah. So I'm not going. I'm not going back to that. Well,
Hmm.
like
Yeah, I
SDSU, love
understand.
them. I'm not picking them to win the championship. Spoiler alert.
Yep.
Um, all right, so we go to round of 32. Gonzaga, Colorado for me. Zaga, Oklahoma for you. I have the Zags going to Sweet 16.
I've I've Gonzaga going through here, and it's not much of a debate here. Number
Yeah,
one team in overall offense efficiency. Not much to debate there. Gonzaga.
yeah. And then we have Auburn, Butler. I think both of us have that, right?
Hmm.
I do have Auburn moving on, but Butler, they're 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 really inconsistent to me.
Hmm.
I feel like they could be a really good team. Kamar Ball is a stud, and he can hit
Hmm.
that big shot when you need it. But at the same time, like they just don't seem like that kind of team that's gonna make a lot of noise in this tournament.
Yeah, I definitely don't like either of these teams, and that's why it's the West region. I feel like we shouldn't have a West region unless we need to have a West region because teams like I think it's definitely the weakest region because of it. Because teams like Auburn and Butler and Illinois, who are the last of their, even Michigan, the last of their seed rankings, are just thrown in there.
Mm.
Uh, so it's definitely a weaker region than we see the other ones. But yeah, I have Butler moving on here. Big East is deep, so I'm gonna give them credit. And I think, like you said, they have a lot of star power.
Yeah. All right. So you said you had Butler. I got Auburn there.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
All right. We'll move on to. I have Oregon, Illinois, and I actually have big upset here. Illinois beating Oregon. Um, Oregon's a good team. They're probably a lot of people's Final Four picks, but there's always one team that I kind of just like choose and roll with, and I think that's Illinois for me right now. Is just like they've shown the ability to sneak up on teams throughout the year, and I think they do that
Mm-hmm.
here again on Oregon.
Yeah.
And then you
Uh,
have Texas here, so
I have Oregon, Texas. I have Oregon taking down Texas, but
mm-hmm.
I just I have Oregon. I think Oregon's the best Pac-12 team, and I don't think it's close. When I watched Pac-12 basketball, Oregon's just a lot better, so I think they're more ready for the national stage.
Yeah, they're definitely far and away the best team in the Pac-12. Like you said, it wasn't
Mm-hmm.
close.
Yep.
Then we have SDSU, Texas Tech. I got SDSU moving on handily. Again, like you said, Michigan, Texas Tech, whoever wins that game, they don't move on much further.
Nope. Yep. I also have the Aztecs.
All right, cool. And then for our Elite Eight, I have Gonzaga beating Auburn, going to one seed, moves on to Elite Eight.
I also have Gonzaga
Cool.
over Butler.
Good. And then I have Illinois continuing the streak, man. I think like I said, don't trust SDSU.
Interesting.
I don't trust SDSU long term. I love them. I think their story is great. Great season, all time great season for them. But Illinois is that team that I'm rolling with this year. So not all the
This
way. I
is
will say it's not all the way,
mm-hmm.
but
Yeah.
I think they can do something special. And you always have some surprise team that makes Elite Eight,
Oh
Final
yeah.
Four.
Yeah.
So I think Illinois could be that team.
This is a year that I wish we had Cincinnati, who's the 11 seed in the Midwest. I wish they were our 11 seed up here because that's probably a team I would have ran with the Elite Eight. But I have Oregon taking down the Aztecs here.
Okay.
Not a,
I think that's a
not
fair pick. That's definitely a fair pick.
Mm-hmm. Definitely don't like going 1 and 2 bread and butter twice on the seed line. That's
Right.
on the Elite Eight. So, like I have Kansas and Creighton, like we just went over at the South. So I went with Oregon.
Right,
Plus, I've seen Oregon play a lot more, so I'm more confident picking them.
Yeah.
So we're gonna roll with the Ducks here, and they'll play Gonzaga in the West final.
Yep. So yeah, I have Gonzaga, Illinois. You have Gonzaga, Oregon. We'll get to the Final Four again at the end. So I say we probably stay on the same side of the bracket and go Midwest. How about that?
Okay. Yep. Perfect.
All right. Gotta find the. All right, here we go. All right, share the screen.
And while Tim's getting that up there, we got our handy dandy brackets all printed out. We have ours. We'll share ours on our pages after this is
Yes.
released. So
Mine's fire. It's fire.
make sure you guys fill that out. The winner, we'll give a shout out. I know I will.
Yeah, I'll give one
I'm
too.
sure Tim will. Yeah. So
And use
anybody,
hashtag THT bracket so we can see it because we need to be able to see
Mhm.
them. I already
Yep.
had one guy DM it to me, and so that's fine. If you just want to DM it to me, that's fine. But
Mhm.
also, tell your friends
Make
about it.
sure-
Have them use hashtag THT brackets. Make this a big thing. We need something to do when we're all stuck in our houses. So,
Mhm.
all right, here we go. Midwest region. This is a fun one. I'm really excited about this one.
Like I told you, I wanted to take the head on this one just because there's so many teams that have intriguing storylines. I wanted to.
yeah.
I have a lot of favorites
go
here.
ahead. Do what you want.
I just want to go over a few teams real quick. BYU at the 6. I'm all over BYU. Really exciting team.
You don't want
I'm
to
not
hear who
going
I picked for that game then.
Oh, I was about to hit on Cincinnati. Cincinnati is probably the most underappreciated team in the nation. They deserve to be better than 11 seed. I believe on my bracketology, I moved them all the way to a 9 seed. I really like Cincinnati. Down at the 12 seed, if you take a look down there, you got Eastern Tennessee. They're the most overrated mid-major team in the nation. This team is very slow on offense, and they do not play well
I think it would
transition
be a
defense.
popular 12-5 pick, and I actually picked the 5 here. I took Wisconsin. I think Wisconsin's going to beat them.
Eastern Tennessee is going to be the most popular 12 upset on 5. I would not be surprised on our bracket they do. There's so many people talked about them. They were considered to be a 10 seed. And when I watch them, I just don't understand what the craze is. A few more teams I want to hit on real quick before we go through it. Liberty's a popular upset every year.
I like this year.
This year, I'm taking Liberty. Spoiler alert there. But it's not because I like Liberty. It's just because I don't like Seton Hall.
I think for Seton Hall, yeah, I think they're one of the more overrated teams. Miles Powell is a great player, but I think the team as a whole is kind of overrated. And yeah, I think Liberty's upset pick there.
I'll talk about Liberty a little bit later. A few more teams I want to talk about. North Dakota State, best 15 seed I've ever watched. This team is a really electric offense, and they can shoot the ball. They're very athletic. They make plays on defense. I really like watching them. That's probably the most exciting conference tournament that I got to watch this year. I really enjoyed watching North Dakota State. Two more teams. Michigan State's the best Big Ten team, hands down. It's not close. And right over, you got Wisconsin, who's also the second best Big Ten team, in my opinion. Tim will disagree with me on that one. I believe he's a big Maryland fan. If that's right.
Oh yeah, I liked Maryland a lot this year. Yeah.
And then lastly, Florida. They were my SEC champion pick. If we ended up getting into that, we'll talk about them later. But go ahead, do your thing.
I do want to throw in one more. I think Northern Kentucky, the 16th seed, is absolutely disrespectful, and they're at least a 15 or 14. I don't know how we end up with them as a 16, but they're not going to beat Dayton. But I think them being a 16 is wrong. I'm just going to say. All right. But yeah, Dayton beats them.
Oh, yeah. Dayton's definitely the team here.
Yeah.
They're the only team with a unanimous first-team All-American this year. So Toppin's pretty elite.
Yeah. I'm a big Obi Toppin guy. He's nuts. Mm-hmm. He's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
St. Mary's, Florida. I have a feeling who I know you're going to pick. And I'm just going to say I agree with you because it's Florida.
Yeah. I went back and watched some St. Mary's film. They struggle breaking down opponent defenses.
8 is a little high for them too, to be honest.
Yeah. CBB United and CBB Network, the basketball specialists, you could call them, I guess. They really liked St. Mary's, but I didn't like them. I went back and watched them. Definitely a slow-moving defensive team, and a team like Florida with a lot of young talent who can shoot and get across the floor fast would eat them up.
Mm-hmm. We already talked about Wisconsin. I like them here. They're tough for me because I think they're a team that obviously they could lose this game and not win the thing, and they could be a threat Elite Eight, Final Four, I think, because they've
Mm-hmm.
hit their stride late in the season. And I do like those type of teams. At the same time, like, you never know with these kind of matchups. But I do like Wisconsin at least in this one.
They remind me a lot of the 8 seed Wisconsin that we saw take down
Mm,
Villanova a few years back.
yeah.
This team really matured over a year. They weren't a tournament team early in the season. They took a lot of losses early. They built back their resume late. They came together. The chemistry went up. They're definitely worthy of that 5 line, and I have the Badgers here.
Yep. And then I have Liberty over Seton Hall, as we talked about.
Mm-hmm. It's a very good matchup for them. They don't turn the ball over either. They're the best team at keeping the ball. They only average 9.36 turnovers per game.
Mm-hmm.
They keep the ball in the possession. They're not going to make mistakes. They're very experienced, and I like that in tournament.
I think
they
Liberty,
can still shoot.
Because we talked about – this is our third region we've talked about. I think Liberty probably beats every 4 seed we've talked about so far, because that's Louisville, Auburn, and now Seton Hall. I think Liberty probably beats all of them, in my opinion.
I'm not sure if I take them over Louisville just because of Louisville, the amount of talent they have, but I would take them over Auburn as well.
All right, cool. And then
the matchup.
The 6-11, I pick Cincy. I'm not sure if you're gonna like that one or not.
I love BYU this year. I've gone on and on about how much I like BYU, and if the tournament did happen, they would ended up beating the 3 seed at the very least. But here, they're number 1 team in 3-point percentage, 42.3%. That's a lot better than number 2 seed. That's more than 5 percentage points better than number 2. Number 22 in turnovers per game. They don't turn the ball. They're very disciplined. Number 5 in assists per game. They share the ball really well. They know where the open man is, and they have a very diverse offense. They're also number 3 in offense proficiency, like we hit earlier. It's the most important stat, probably computer-based stat, in my opinion. They're a very complete team, and like I said, I love Cincinnati this year. But you played the wrong 6 seed. So there we go.
Yeah, but like I said, you hit good points there. BYU is a good team, but it's March, so
anything
give
can
me
happen.
Cincy here. Give me 11. I'll take it.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, and then Michigan State, Belmont. I actually agree with you. Michigan State probably by the end of the year they were hitting championship like stride. When beginning of the year they were a little inconsistent, but by the end of the year they looked good, and so they handled Belmont here with ease.
Yeah, Belmont's not like the Belmont team we saw last year. Not trying to pick at all. Michigan State will handle.
No Dylan Windler. That guy was special.
Yeah, should be a pretty easy matchup here.
Yeah, and then West Virginia, Arizona State. I think it's the same kind of thing where it's not the Arizona State we had last year either, and I think they were actually 11 seed last year. I think they got into the first 4, and they actually look kind of good to me. I don't think the Arizona State team this year is quite like that. So I actually like West Virginia here.
This was the one matchup where I had no idea. I watched neither team this year, and that's very rare. So this was a very hard pick. I had to go watch a little bit of film on this one just to make sure I wasn't shooting darts. I went with West Virginia here, and the one thing I wrote down is I really liked how they attacked offense glass. And believe it or not, I went back and looked at their stats. They're number 1 in offensive rebounds per game. Love the offensive rebound stat. So made a lot of sense for me to pick West Virginia here.
Yep. And they have Kentucky versus your Bison at North Dakota State. I like Kentucky here.
As tempting as it was to take a 15, of course. Love taking 15s. But, yeah, I went Kentucky. Kentucky's the best 2 seed, in my opinion. I know you didn't have that, but big fan of the Wildcats.
All right, so we move on to round 32 where we have Dayton versus Florida. I'm taking Dayton, actually. I feel like you might have a 9-1 upset here, but I like Dayton. I like Obi Toppin. I like what he brings to the table. And that team as a whole. I think they surrounded Toppin well. Yeah.
You're right. I did consider the Florida-Dayton victory here, but I ended up going with Dayton.
Hey, there we go.
I think it'll make more sense as the bracket unfolds why I went Dayton here. But you're right. They just have a strong presence inside. Very good defensive team. Obi Toppin, like you said, just a dynamic player, and they're going to make day week 2.
Yeah. And then we have Wisconsin Liberty, and like I said, Wisconsin, their team is hitting their stride, can make a long run, but I'm a big Liberty guy, so I took Liberty here to go to the Sweet 16, be a little Cinderella action here.
There you go. There's your double-digit seed into the Sweet
Yeah,
16.
yeah.
I have
I needed
mine.
one. I needed
I
one at
guess,
least.
yeah, you got to have one. I have two up there, so in the South region. So there's where mine were at the current time. I have Wisconsin taking now Liberty, though. Like I said, they're a mature team. They know what they're doing. Veteran presence. I don't like Liberty as I do most years.
Gotcha. I mean, yeah, I think Wisconsin win that game too, and Wisconsin is a team that I think could beat Dayton, but because of what I
Mm-hmm.
have, before we go down the bottom
Yeah.
part, I'll just say real quick that Dayton beats Liberty for me, and Dayton
Mm-hmm.
gets the Elite
Okay.
Eight.
Okay. I guess I'll share my pick now. I have Wisconsin taking down Dayton.
I see
Um,
that I could see that happening though. That's the thing. That's
yeah,
a good
I
pick.
don't like Dayton making it past uh, the Sweet 16. I think they're a good team, but they're not a great team. I think a team like Wisconsin, who's also on that bubble, would be looking to take down the under. Like Dayton probably go into this game as the underdog status just because they're
Yeah.
Dayton.
Uh-huh.
So I think Wisconsin would embrace that. I think they take a dub.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, like I said, I could definitely see that happening. I think Wisconsin is one of those teams that can make noise in this tournament, but could also lose to a team like Liberty. So
Mm-hmm.
we move on to the bottom real quick there. Mississippi State versus Cincinnati. I have Mississippi State, but you have them playing BYU. So I'm
Mississippi
interested.
State, you mean
Sorry,
Michigan
Michigan
State?
State. My bad. I just saw MSU. Sorry, Michigan
Yeah.
State. My bad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Who do you have? Excuse me. Sorry.
I have Michigan State over Cincinnati.
Okay. I have BYU taking down Michigan here. Michigan
Ah,
State. I love Michigan State, but I couldn't resist at least getting BYU one more round. I think this is the perfect storm. BYU's meant to be there. I feel like great shooting team, great offense. Michigan State, they're definitely the championship contender that we thought they were at the beginning of the year, but they still have those flaws.
yeah. Yeah, I think that they rounded in championship shape. So I think they at least get to the Sweet 16 for sure. We have West Virginia, Kentucky. I think Kentucky's just a lot better than West
Mm-hmm.
Virginia, just talent wise. I think that's enough to get them through the Sweet 16.
As do I. I also have that.
All right, cool. And then Elite Eight, I have Michigan State actually beating Kentucky, so I have the one of the three from here. I don't want another
Okay.
1-2 chalk. So yeah,
Yep.
far I've had 1 and 2, 1 and 6, and 1 and 3.
Okay. So you got the ones staying
Yeah,
strong as of
yeah,
now.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
As of
For
now.
now.
Then I have Wisconsin up top, and then I have Kentucky taking down BYU. I know
Okay.
you thought I changed that. I just thought about it. Manuel Quickly is one of the best college basketball players I've ever watched. He's so dynamic. Like Calipari said, that team's special. I really wanted to see that team in the tournament this year. So I'm taking Kentucky.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, Kentucky, like you said, very special team. But I think Michigan State, like I was saying, rounding in championship shape. And I think it's all about what are you looking like at the end of the year. And I think Michigan State, Kentucky, they've obviously dominated the SEC all year. But I think Michigan State, they have Cassius Winston, great senior leadership. So I think they get to the Elite Eight there.
Mm-hmm. All right. Yeah.
All right. We got one more section to go before we hit the Final Four.
Every year there seems to be like a dynamic player. 2 years ago, it was Lonzo Ball. He was just one of those players.
Yeah.
You felt his presence. Zion was a player last year, and this year I feel like it's Quickly. And he's kind of gone under the radar, but he turns the game upside down when he's on. So
yeah,
I think in a tournament presence with Calipari and his veteran leadership, not necessarily class act, but
right.
But yeah.
All right, so we got one more region here, the East region with Baylor as the 1 seed. We do have a first 4 game though, Richmond UCLA, and I'm gonna just say it. I grew up UCLA fan. My dad was a big UCLA fan. We grew up in that way, but I don't trust UCLA at all here. So I'm taking Richmond to move on to face Iowa.
Well, that'll round out our playing games, and we've all had the same pick. I went Richmond here. I really like Richmond at the end of the year. They've been in my bubble the entire time, and then last week I took them out right when they were getting hot. And it kind of was a head scratcher, but at the same time, they didn't have the resume. But also at the same time, like you said, I don't trust UCLA here. I'm going to go with Richmond.
Nice. And then do you have Richmond beating Iowa?
I do not.
I don't either.
I think I don't I don't think Iowa's the greatest team, but I don't think they'd lose to a team like
Yeah, I think
Richmond.
Iowa's a little overrated too, just because they have
Mm-hmm.
Luka Garza, but I don't think their
Yep.
team is as great as people like to think they are.
Mm-hmm. Yep, for sure.
So then we'll hop back over to the 1 seed here, where we got Baylor facing Boston University, and I think Baylor wins
Mm-hmm.
handily. Not a lot of discussion there.
Yeah. I
All
also have Baylor.
right, cool. Providence Rutgers. This one is actually one that I took some time to think about, and I ended up going Rutgers. I think I just like them a little bit better than Providence. I think Rutgers is one of those teams that's like they fought their way at the end of the year to get into this tournament, and I think because of that fight, they're gonna at least get one win here.
I think Rutgers is one of the teams that got in just because people expected them to get in. Like, you look at the resume, I'm like, I should sit there. I'm like, why are they a lock to get in? They're definitely not a team that jumps off the paper for you. I have
Mm-hmm.
Providence here. I'll get
Okay,
into Providence next matchup because I think the Baylor Providence matchup is really intriguing. So I'll kind of break down the thought process there.
interesting. All right. Then we have Virginia, Vermont. I think Virginia is better than a 5 seed, to be honest. I think they're better than that, but it's where
You
they're
had
at.
them. You had them at a 4 seed, I believe.
I have the 4 line. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Maybe 3 seed because they won our ACC
yeah, we haven't
simulation.
winning that ACC tournament because I mean
Mm-hmm.
they won like 8 straight games at the end of the year or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
they're a good team, and so I don't think there's a 12-5 upset happening here. I think
No.
Virginia handles Vermont.
Vermont's not as good as they've been in the past.
Yeah, and I think Virginia's just better than the 5 seed.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have Maryland, Akron. I don't think Akron is that special. I think Maryland is pretty good, so I'm actually give it to Maryland here. No 13-4 upset.
I went Maryland as well. They're just the size advantage is crazy. I looked at Akron. Maryland would tower over them. There's no chance for upset.
Yeah. We already went over Iowa beating Richmond, even though we don't love Iowa. Villanova, Hofstra. Villanova is one of my favorite teams come tournament time, no matter where they're at. Well, I mean, last year I had them they were at a 6, right? Last year, and
Wherever.
actually picked them to go to the Final Four because I thought they're a lot better than a 6. They didn't end up getting there because they lost to Carson Edwards and Purdue.
Yeah.
I
I
like
also
him.
had them in the Final Four.
Yeah, as Jay Wright, man, I think he's a fantastic coach.
Oh yeah, for sure. They can shoot.
Yeah, and so yeah, they're a good team this year. They're a 3 seed. I had them winning the Big East tournament, and so yeah, I think they get a pretty easy win over Hofstra.
Yep. That's what I have.
Sweet. And then Penn State Marquette. This is actually a fun one. We have Marquette a little bit lower than most people. Most people have Marquette at a 9. We have them at a 10. I do really like Marcus Howard, but I think for a second year in a row, he gets a first-round exit. Last year it was to John Morant, Murray State. This year it's to a Penn State team that I actually really like, probably more than others. They kind of started to tail off towards the end of the year when they were like mid-year. They were like number 1 in the Big Ten, I think. And they started to tail off, but I think they still get a win here, here in the tournament against Marquette, and then move on to the round of 32.
Both teams are underranked here for what the consensus was. Marquette's one of those teams back in November I watched, and I was like, I'm going to take them to Sweet 16. I'm going to take them to Elite 8. I have a friend who's a Marquette fan, and I remember talking to him. I like watching this team. They're fun to watch. They're really the first Big East team aside from Villanova that I'm like, that's a fun team to watch. So I couldn't resist at least putting them at least one game into the tournament. So I went with Marquette, also because I just don't like Penn State. I don't like them at all. Don't think they're a good team this year. So we're gonna keep Penn State losing around 64.
Well, we disagree there, but I just think, man, Penn State, they've been so bad for so long, and it feels like this year they're finally making the tournament. I just feel like they gotta get at least one win. We have Florida State versus Bradley. I thought Bradley might end up as a 14, but they still fell to the 15 slot for us.
They were at the top.
Florida State handles them easily. I don't think it's close. Florida State's a very good team.
They're a very physical and fast team, big team. Florida State would manhandle them.
Yeah. And because of that, like physicality and quickness that you talked about, I think they're a team that goes deep. But we'll get to that. So we got Baylor Rutgers from me. You have Baylor Providence. I have Baylor moving on. I think Rutgers road ends there.
I have Providence moving on.
Oh.
So there's like I kind of alluded to.
Come on my show and you have more hot takes than me.
I alluded to, the reason I didn't take Florida over Dayton is because I like Providence over Baylor a little bit more. So Providence can shoot the ball. They're in the Big East So I'm kind of alluding to the conference again, but I think I've learned over the time it's a big deal. So I
Mhm.
went Providence here. I think Baylor's a team who didn't deserve the one line in the first place. I think Providence is a lot better team. Not excuse me, not a lot better, but I think they're a better tournament team. I think they're a team that can shoot and make plays happen. So
Mhm.
we're gonna have Providence moving on and beating the 1 seed.
Interesting. I'm gonna be honest, didn't see that coming. I did not see
Mm-hmm.
that coming. Um, we'll see if fans vote that way because I feel like a lot of people agree with you that Baylor isn't like
There's no way
deserving
that
of
they're
being the
on.
one.
Yeah, but
Um,
they have a good buffer,
I
I
was
think.
really
So.
close to actually putting Kentucky over them as a one, but I liked Baylor's record better more. I think Kentucky because
Mm-hmm.
Kentucky still had like 7 or 8 losses. I did love that as a 1 seed, so I still put Baylor as a one. But
Yeah.
If Baylor had lost early and Kentucky just swept through the SEC tournament, then yeah, I think Kentucky could have ended up as a one.
Yeah, if Baylor ended up losing to Texas or Texas Tech, whoever they played, then I
Mm-hmm.
would have moved Kentucky over. But I assumed Baylor would make the Final Four in the tournament. So.
Yeah. All right. So then we got Virginia, Maryland. I think for both of us, I was just singing the praises of Virginia being, they're a better team than a 5 and all that. But I actually like Maryland here. I Maryland's got some
That's
talent on their
very
team,
surprising
and I
for me.
think like Virginia got hot, but at the same time, there's legitimate flaws that they had early in the year that if a team can exploit them, they're gonna get beat. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't think this is a championship winning or championship contending Virginia team. Not like last year.
Yeah,
They lost key guys, and I really like Kihei Clark. I really like Mamadi Diakite, but I don't think it's the same team. And I think they lose to Maryland here. I really like Anthony Cowan. I like Jalen Smith. I think those guys are able to get a win here against
that makes sense.
Virginia.
I don't like Maryland much. Like I said, they're big, but I don't think they're very good. I went Virginia here. I'm on the Virginia hype train, so I'm gonna have Virginia moving on to play Providence, which is a
Okay,
favorable matchup. So
that'd be a fun one.
yeah.
That's a fun one. Virginia Providence. I think, yeah, I think that'd be a fun matchup to see for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And at the bottom
Yeah.
here, I'm pretty chalk here at the bottom. I have Nova taking care of Iowa with ease. I think Villanova's a very good team. I don't
Mm-hmm.
think Iowa can hang with them for full lengths game. So
Mm-hmm.
Villanova moves on, and then I have Florida State beating Penn State because Florida State's just better. Like you said, strong, quick, run the floor, aggressive. Penn State won't be
Mm-hmm.
able to handle that.
Yeah. I'm pretty straight there too. I have number 3 Villanova moving on. Just a lot better team than Iowa. Not Florida State
Mm-hmm.
manhandling Marquette. I think Florida State's another team like we mentioned. Creighton. They're on a pretty easy, smooth sailing way to at least the Sweet 16.
Yeah.
But then you get to the Villanova Florida State game. That's going to be very good if that
I
happens.
struggle. We'll start with that one actually because I struggled with it so much because I love
Mm-hmm.
Villanova. I love Jay Wright. I love what they do every single year. But Florida State, they just seem like I just feel like they've got it this year. Like
Mm-hmm.
they're special. And I think Villanova, they're really good year in, year out, well coached, like I said. I don't think they quite have the personnel to do it like they have in past years. They don't have the, Archie Diacono, Chris Jenkins kind of roster, and they don't have that roster that just like blew everybody out a few years ago
Mm-hmm.
because that roster
Yeah.
was ridiculous. Um, so like you keep saying about Florida State, aggressive, strong, quick, fast. They run the floor. Like they just get after it. They're high energy. I love high energy
Mm-hmm.
teams. So I got Florida State moving on to Elite Eight.
I also have Florida State moving on here. I think they're a team that just they make me watch a little bit more intensely because they're just like,
They
wow,
pull
they're
you in,
able to do
man.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're fun to watch, and I also have them there. So they'll be moving on to the East Final. And for me, it's another ACC team because I have Virginia moving on to the East Final from the semifinal. So I
See,
have an ACC bout.
here's an interesting thing then, because you have Virginia beating Providence, which I would have picked as well. If that's the matchup, I have Virginia beating Providence 10 times out of 10. But mine is Baylor, Maryland. And so here's the interesting thing. We actually both have the winner of the UVA Maryland game moving on because I have Maryland ending Baylor's run because I don't want to
Mm-hmm.
put every single 1 seed in the Elite Eight. That doesn't happen.
Yeah.
I think there's always one seed that loses for the Elite Eight. For me,
Mm-hmm.
that's Baylor, and I have them losing to Maryland, and they'll play Florida State in the Elite Eight.
Mm-hmm. Okay. That's our Elite Eight so far. So
All right, so let's
fun to.
just recap real quick. We'll go over what our Elite Eight teams are.
Mm-hmm.
I've got Kansas Creighton in the South, Gonzaga Illinois in the West, Dayton, Michigan State in the Midwest, and Maryland, Florida State in the East.
On my side, I got number 1 Kansas against number 2 Creighton. I got in the West 1 Gonzaga against number 3 Oregon. I got number 5 Wisconsin, number 2 Kentucky in the Midwest, and number 5 Virginia against number 2 Florida State in the East.
All right. So we'll move on to the Final Four. Give you guys our Final Four picks and the championship match. Who we have win the whole thing. I'm going to start not in the order that we did it before. I'm going to start with my hottest take, which is Illinois beating Gonzaga.
Ooh.
Because I guess Illinois, I pick one team every year that I think can just do something. And last year I hit right with Auburn. And so I'm hoping for that again with Illinois, just because they haven't been consistent all year. But Stetson said something to me last year about Purdue. And that was interesting. Purdue actually made quite a run. And it's that the only team that's scarier than a team that's consistently bad is one that – is inconsistently bad is one that's inconsistently good. And I think that's Illinois. And they have the ability to just I just feel like they're going to sneak up on teams, man. And they've been in close games. And they feel like a team that's made for upsetting teams when you don't expect them to.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to go ahead and finish my thought on that. I have Gonzaga against number 3 Oregon. I'm going to have Gonzaga beating Oregon. I don't want to get into Gonzaga too much yet because there's more coming, because it's a very intriguing matchup what I got here. I got a really intriguing matchup coming up, so I want to kind of save it for that.
Okay.
So
I have a feeling where you're going with this, and I'm actually really excited for it. But if I'm wrong, I'll be sad.
I think you're going to be wrong.
Is it Midwest that you're talking about?
Midwest, yeah. I'm going to have Kentucky beating Wisconsin.
Oh, dang it. Oh.
The reason I think it's an intriguing matchup is just because how Gonzaga and Kentucky match up. Gonzaga's got this dynamic offense, and Kentucky's got this dynamic defense, which is kind of rare for Kentucky. But
kind of rare for Wisconsin, too. They're usually a pretty impressive defensive team.
I have Kentucky beating Wisconsin just because I think Kentucky's just a lot better than them. I think
they get revenge for that year where Wisconsin beat them for
exactly
season a few years ago.
And the funny thing about that, I had all 4 Final Four teams, and I had the same championship. That's the only year I've ever done that.
Wow.
However, I did so bad. I did so bad in round 64, it didn't matter. Even though I had the Final Four and championship, I had Duke winning too. I just did so bad.
Well, Wisconsin should have won that game though.
Mm-hmm.
I think you know that. Yeah. Wisconsin should have won that game.
Yeah.
Ref said.
Yeah. But yeah, I had Duke winning because I was like, not having Kentucky. Everybody's gonna pick Kentucky.
Yeah. So actually, for that one, so I have a completely different matchup. I have Dayton, Michigan State, and I'm actually sending Dayton to the Final Four because a lot like we've been talking about with Florida State is Dayton's high energy. Like when Obi Toppin rises up and just yams on someone, they go nuts, and I feel like they have that energy the entire game, and they have shooters around Obi Toppin, because Obi Toppin can shoot, but that's not really his game. So
for all the people listening, if you go up online, search Dayton basketball, all it's going to talk about is how electric and how high energy this team is. They dunk the ball all the time. And the funny thing is, 75% of the time it's Toppin dunking. So
yeah. But it's amazing to me that the teams can't figure it out. His ability to roll off a screen and they just lob it to him and he just poof on someone's head. It's ridiculous. Every single team he's played.
Well, here's the thing: he doesn't only dunk and move off the screens. He can shoot it from beyond the arc. He can make. He's
not a shooter, but he can make the shot. So he's played himself into being a top 5 pick in the NBA draft.
He's a bigger Darius Thornwell, who he's not necessarily a top NBA prospect.
He's definitely more athletic. He's definitely more athletic than Thornwell.
Oh yeah. But he plays a lot similar to him, which is just quicker and quick twitch.
But yeah, so I like Dayton here because I think they're going to be throughout the tournament, even though they're a 1 seed, they're going to be the underdog in a lot of games, and they're going to take that and be like, "We're a 1 seed. We've done it this entire year. We've been at least entire year. Now you're doubting us. Now that we're here." And so I think the electricity, that energy that we've been talking about, that comes through, and they end Michigan State's championship run, and Dayton heads to the Final Four.
I don't think that Dayton will be in the followers Final Four. I think it's going to end up being. I
don't think so either, which is unfortunate.
I think it's going to be.
It's going to be
Kentucky or Michigan State. Yep, I agree. That there's just the blue bloods.
So fans, if you're listening, I'm speaking to you. Don't put
Give
Kentucky
us
or Michigan State in the Final
give us
Four.
we challenge
We
you.
need
Put
something fun.
BYU, put Wisconsin, put
No,
Florida, put someone
hey.
like that. Give us some fun to
Wisconsin, I
watch.
actually wouldn't be mad about because I think Wisconsin
Mhm.
can actually make the Final Four. I think they're
Let us
actually,
brag about something that our followers did
yeah.
this.
It's like, look how cool like our bracket was. Y'all was boring, had all one seeds. You know, we had Wisconsin and Texas Tech. No, I'm kidding.
Don't
But
go up
yeah.
there and pick a 16 seed, but I dare you to
Oh
go
yeah.
put a 9 or 8 seed over number 1 seed. I want to see it happen.
I mean, it'd be fun. It's more fun that way. We don't. No one wants to see chalk in these things.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. So
Yeah,
your Final Four is going to be Illinois
and Dayton
versus
on the
Michigan State.
right side of the bracket.
Oh, Dayton.
Illinois versus
Okay.
Dayton, yeah. And I'm just gonna go up real quick to the south because I have Kansas beating Creighton. I consider Creighton just because of how well they shoot the ball, but I think Kansas is that dominant. That
I think
Creighton's road ends there.
I don't think Kansas is the most complete team, but I think this is too early for Kansas's run to end. So I'm gonna have Kansas here.
Yeah, usually I have Kansas choke prior to the Sweet 16 or Elite Eight, but this team is just a lot better than the teams have had in the past.
Oh yeah.
I remember last year Kansas got in as a 4, and I hated their team. I could not.
Oh yeah, they were not good.
They were so bad, and I wanted to pick them to lose in the first round, but I couldn't because they were playing like Northeastern. Like
they
there
were
was
playing
like
North.
if they play like any other 13 seed, I would have picked them. But like, watch,
Yeah.
they got like the worst 13 seed. But then they had Auburn in the second round. I'm like, yeah, Auburn's gonna blow them out. It's not wipe the floor with them. I think they did. I don't think the game was close.
Yeah, it wasn't.
But yeah, Creighton. Kansas makes the Final Four here. Sorry, Kansas makes the Final Four for me. Out of the
All
South.
right. I also have Kansas, and moving down to the East, we both have Florida State, but you have Maryland and Virginia. I have Virginia. Excuse me. I pulled up the past results this year just before I tell you my pick. January 15th, Florida State at home beat Virginia by 4. 2 weeks later, on January 28th, we had Virginia at home against Florida State, and they took them down by 5. Now, I'm not saying this 2-point difference means anything, but I'm taking Florida State because I think over time, even despite this hot streak Virginia's riding, I just think Florida State's a better team. And I hate going chalk. I have 2 number ones in my final, and I have 2 number ones. 2 number ones and 2 number twos. I hate chalk like this, and I usually always have a 5. And in fact, on my bracket right now, I have Virginia in there, but I have notes down here, and I never change my pick either. But I just changed my pick as we're going through this. I talked myself into Florida State. So
it's probably my fault because I have Florida State going to the Final Four too, and I've been hyping up this entire time.
I knew you had Florida State in there.
Because I've been talking about Maryland, being a big Maryland supporter, but this ain't it. Like they're gonna get ran by Florida State here. So yeah, Florida State to the Final Four over Maryland for me. I don't think Florida State keeps it close. I don't think Maryland keeps it close. I think Florida State runs away with it.
Besides Kentucky and South Carolina, I've watched the most of Florida State just because how fun they are. I realized, hey, I want them to go a long way. They're fun to watch.
Yeah.
So put them in the Final Four.
Yeah. And so that means they face Kansas in the Final Four, which is that's a battle of the heavyweights right there. Florida State's they run, they jump, they can shoot too. Don't be tripping. They can shoot. Kansas, is kind of known as the best overall team in the tournament, but I don't care. Florida State is winning that game. I have Florida State going to the national championship game.
I'm going to also share that opinion. I have Florida State moving on to the championship game.
And here's the thing, Kansas,
I hate picking the grain. I hate picking the number 1 team to make the championship game and win the championship game if I know that they're not the best team. So I'm going to have Kansas make the Final Four and everything, but Florida State could beat this game, could beat this Kansas team and win this game a lot more often than I think Kansas would win. I think they're just a physical and quick team. So we're going to take the 2 seed Seminoles.
I'm big on this Florida State team for sure. So my other side is a lot weirder than I think yours is because I have Illinois, and then I have Dayton. So I actually have Dayton beating Illinois. Illinois' road finally ends. Illinois' road finally ends, but like I said, it's Obi Toppin and that team. They're electric. They're energetic. They're fun. And they're going to play with the chip on their shoulders because even though they're a 1 seed, it feels like they're getting disrespected as an underdog every time. So, because we're heavily considering having them lose to a 9, and so like come on, like we're a 1 seed. So I think they take that to heart. They make it all the way to the championship game. So I have Florida State versus Dayton for the Natty. Who would have seen that coming? Not me.
First off, shout out to Mike Underwood, former South Carolina assistant coach. You got probably the most exciting head coaches right now that recruiting wise, Illinois and Oklahoma State, both South Carolina assistant coaches. Instead, South Carolina holds on to Frank Martin, who recruits horribly. Illinois and Oklahoma State have been top 15 in the recruiting class the past 3 years or so. Shout out to Ray Tanner, worst AD in the nation. But anyways, I have Gonzaga against number 2 Kentucky. I think you know where I'm going with this by this now. I have Gonzaga moving on. I'll say it now. I think Gonzaga is the best team in the nation.
Okay.
I don't like following the offensive efficiency, this is exactly what it is. But about since January, I've been saying, all right, Gonzaga's going to be my pick. So Gonzaga's in the finals. I'm at least going to do that.
Do you hold true? Does Gonzaga win the national championship?
Yes, Gonzaga wins.
Oh, okay. See,
and this is the first time I've ever picked Gonzaga.
I picked them last year and let me down. But they had a good shot, and Texas Tech was a good game. Oh, hi, dog.
Gonzaga is one of the lump of teams that I don't like picking to win my bracket ever. I don't know why.
Same.
But this
except for last year, of course, I was like, I think they could do it this year. They got a good squad.
This year I watched them.
Now that they let me down, I'm probably never picking them ever again.
It's kind of like me picking Ray Rice in fantasy football. He had that horrible year. I'm like, never picking Ray Rice again. Same with Drew Brees. I picked him in this one-off year. I'm like, never taking Drew Brees again. So,
I think you know where I'm going with my pick. Team that gets up and down the floor. Well, the thing in common, though, about both my picks for the championship game,
fast.
They get up and down the floor. They're high energy, electric squads that they're just fun to watch because they got guys dunking on fools and they just, like we said, get up and down the court. They run fast. I think Florida State is just a little bit more dominant because they've been more battle tested with their overall schedule. I think they out physical Dayton in a lot of ways.
They do. They're a lot stronger.
I think if Obi Toppin gets taken away, then that's how they'll get beat. And I think a lot of these teams coming up here can take away Obi Toppin, but I also think Obi Toppin is dominant enough to not allow himself to get taken away. But when they get matched, because Dayton hasn't seen a team that matches their energy yet. Like Michigan State's not an energy team like that, and neither is, I guess for me, Florida or Liberty. So those teams aren't going to match their energy. Florida State can match their energy and exceed it. And so Florida State wins. I think in a tight one though. I have final score being 83-81.
Okay. I probably should have made a tiebreaker, but
it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I didn't bring one up. So I got Florida State against Gonzaga, and like I said, I have Gonzaga winning this one. Let's see, give me Gonzaga by about 7. I think it'd be
okay.
So I think it'd be a good victory. It'd be one of those games where it's not very close, but then Florida State gives you a glimmer of hope. They're within 4. Gonzaga kind of slams the door on them.
Yeah, that's kind of what I had was Florida State was up by a bit, and then Dayton kind of gets it close late, but free throws and just kind of stuff like that. Florida State ends up winning a close one still. Dayton hits a shot. Dayton hits a shot with under a second left that brings it within 2, makes it closer than it actually was. Something like that,
I think one of the key takeaways of this is that Florida State's for real. People like you and me, we watch a lot of basketball. A lot of people think Florida State's not a good team. I was reading Lenardi and a few other those guys. A few of them don't believe in Florida State. In this bracket, I bet they'd have them losing to Villanova or losing to Iowa or someone like that. And I think we watch enough basketball. And hey, Lenardi, you watch a lot of basketball at the same time. You're being paid for something I could do. So
that's the goal, right? Is to get paid for this one day.
Exactly. Yeah. That's why we made our accounts too. So we want to be able to get to the point where we're on TV. We're the people that you're listening to. So Florida State is for real. And they're definitely a good team.
Something here real quick.
While he's looking for that, another thing I want to bring up, I really liked Florida. I think it'd be very appropriate to pick Florida over Dayton for those people listening. I'm all about you guys picking Florida over Dayton here.
Don't let him rig this for you guys. Can I zoom in on the Florida State logo? Because I want to, because that's my team for this tournament.
Yeah, go ahead.
Wait. I don't know how to zoom in. Oh, wait, maybe I do. Nope, it's not working. All right, whatever.
Sorry.
But that team right there, that's my squad for this tourney. And then let me bring up yours, of course, just to be fair to one another.
I see the
Here
thing
we
about
go.
Gonzaga. You can go ahead and zoom on Colorado. I love Colorado out there in Boulder. If I
You didn't
could,
even pick them though, so that's mad fake.
I love Colorado. Sometimes I don't know. That was my dream school.
All right. So Gonzaga for you, and
do this.
Florida State for me. Pick Florida State, guys. Pick Florida State. The team's legit. They're for real. So hope you guys. Oh boy.
That's too big.
I
I was talking about my dream school, but we can go ahead and rep Kennesaw State. We're repping shirt, going hat. I had to flag.
I don't have any Cal Lou stuff on right now, unfortunately.
QB1.
Yes, sir. We're getting there. Don't worry. But spring ball got canceled, so that's tough.
Yep. But yeah, thanks for having me on. This was a lot of fun.
Of course, yeah. I'm glad we were able to finally get around to doing this. I'm excited. I know that this tournament thing is going to be great for both of our pages, and I know that's going to be great for everyone involved in it because it gives, March Madness is like it's one of the best times of the sports year for me, and losing it was so disappointing and heartbreaking. And so I'm glad that we can find a way to, bring at least some sort of March Madness to people. And, even though we'll never really know how the real tournament would stack up, I'm like filling out brackets is just fun, and talking about them is just fun. So I firmly believe that if the tournament actually happened, then Florida State would have won the whole thing.
I'm very strongly believing that Gonzaga would won.
Yeah, I filled this out as if they were actually playing, not if people were voting for it. Because I filled out if people were voting for it.
Yeah.
I would probably pick Kansas just because I feel like they're probably going to be the favorite in terms of voting. I would have had Dayton lose earlier.
One thing I'd like to say before we
I would have picked Illinois.
Yeah, no.
I would not have picked Illinois.
That's same. Yeah. Right now, Tim Hot Takes, his Instagram's at 1,645 followers, 54 followers. Excuse me. Right now, I'm at 3,465. So I'm 550 away. He's about 450 away. If you can get us to 4,000 and 2,000 respectively by the time this tournament ends, I'll hold up my end of the bargain. I know he hasn't agreed to this. I just thought of it. We'll go ahead. We'll do a live stream on Instagram. We'll answer your questions, whatever you guys want.
I'm all for that.
Yeah, it's gonna be a tall task. Get me to 3,800 to make it fair. But we do stuff like this because we enjoy it.
Yeah.
We just took an hour out of our days. I mean, of course, we're not doing anything because of quarantine. But we enjoy this. We're trying to give you guys interactive content. We're trying to involve you guys. So a little follow goes a long way. A little share, say, hey, follow these guys. It means a lot to us. We really care about our work, and we're passionate about it. We do it to our best. We're not those people that go out there and put out jargon just because, hey, you guys might like this, so follow us. We put up stuff up there that people won't probably like.
Especially me. My Chase Young post, I got so much more hate for that than I thought I would. People saying
because Isaiah Simmons, he's just the trendy guy right now.
So. Yeah, he's the hot trendy name. But Chase Young's the best part of the draft. Never forget it, any of you.
And like I was saying, there's only been one time where I ever put stuff out there to that I didn't believe. I put out stuff there that I believe because I'm a big businessman, and that's what this account is. But at the same time, I want to give out my unique experience. So I've only done that once, and I don't plan on doing it again. So
I'm not out here, doing this for my health. I do it because I care about it. I do it because I say what I believe, and I have strong opinions about sports that I know others disagree with, and some will like. So here I am.
Yep.
So
thanks for having me on. Like I said.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, we'll see you guys. See you guys another time. And,
keep filling out those brackets, THT brackets, #THT brackets. Let us know. DM them to either one of us. We'll get a little collection going and see who does the best.
All right. Yep. I'll see you, Tim.
Yep.
Thanks.
All right. Everyone have a great day. Stay safe. Hope you guys are living up that quarantine. All right. Have a good one.